In today's class, we will be concluding our chapter tuples. So today we will be seeing a few functions which we can use with tuples, and we will begin with dictionaries. So these are few functions which we can use with tuples. Okay, till yesterday we had seen deleting tuples, right? How we cannot delete individual elements from a tuple, but we can delete a whole tuple using the del keyword. So now we will be seeing these few functions. The first function is len. Of course, we know what it does. Returns the number of elements in a tuple. So it returns the number of elements in a tuple. If you have 5 elements, it will return 5. A very straightforward function which is used for any type of sequence. Okay. Next is max. Returns the largest value or the largest element in a tuple. And also you have to be careful. It is only it only works properly if the tuple contains identical elements, that is elements of the same type. If there are elements of variable type in the tuple, then this function returns an error. It will not work if your tuple contains elements of different type. For example, we have the Python shell here. Just give me a moment. I'll just resize this. So I have a tuple T1 which contains firstly elements of identical type, right? And I have a tuple T2 which contains elements of different type. So you can see there are elements of different type over here. If I write max T1, it will give me the maximum value. But if I write max T2, it will give me an error, that is a type error. Okay. This is not supported between instance of str and int, because here we are going to, it has used the greater than sign to represent that internally a comparison operator is used to find out the maximum value. Okay, and that is not possible. Logically, if you think, it is not possible to figure out the largest element if there are variable type of elements within the tuple. If we take a third tuple which consists of only characters, so we will see whether it works. Here it works because all the elements are of the same type. Okay, elements have to be of the same type, of the identical type, if you want the function to work properly. And same goes for same goes for min function also. Its definition is also going to be the same. Only thing is, it will return the smallest element in the tuple. So I write min T1, it gives me the smallest element. I give min T2, it will give me an error again. And if I give min T3, it will give me the minimum value depending upon its ASCII value. Okay, internal ASCII value in the tuple, right? If I have capital letters and small letters both in a particular tuple, then of course the smallest element will be chosen from the capital alphabets or capital letters. Why? Because their ASCII values are smaller than the ASCII values of lowercase letters. Then we have index. So index is also a very interesting function which I had already explained when I was teaching you strings and lists. We'll see index, how index works. So tuple object dot index. Okay, tuple object dot index, and this index value can be returned in a variable also. So this is the syntax of what? Index function. And please let me just explain this part. You have over here value as the mandatory or compulsory argument. That is, you have to provide the argument value, because you are trying to find the index, that is location of a value of an element in the tuple. Okay, so value you have to provide, that is your mandatory argument. If you don't provide at least this argument, it is going to give you an error, that is too few parameters. Okay, it will give you an error, too few parameters, right? And these two are optional arguments. Why? Because these arguments can be skipped. If you want, you can give it depending upon the requirement, and if you want, you can skip these values. Okay, so I had explained one example, one program in using lists. So I think it, whether it, no, it was using strings. Okay, so what you can do is you can easily just go through this. I mean, you can use this function, and we will in one of my offline videos, I will be uploading one offline lecture in which I will discuss one such program where you will be using this. There was one program I had discussed in the offline lecture which worked on the index function. Okay, so start and stop, that is, you can provide the start value from where to start searching, from where to start the lookup. That is, start searching from where. Okay, and stop is for where to stop, where to stop looking, where to stop lookup, right? So you can give a start value and you can give a stop value. Let's see an example of this. So I have I'm creating a tuple here. So I've created a tuple here, and I'm writing here t1 dot index, and here I'm giving the index of 20. So it gives me the index as 0. That is the first, it appears right over here. If I write t1 dot index 20, but I want to give a stop, you can see over here, start can start from 0, stop can take up this large number over here. Okay, so usually now, because I had explained one day that in any programming language, a computer is a digital device which works on discrete values, values which can be counted or values which are finite. We have nothing like infinity, right? So but this large stop value which you can see over here, it can be, I mean, no value in the world can surpass this, right? It is such a huge number. So this can be considered, this is your stop value. That is, your stop value can range from any number between 0 and this, right? But not less than 0. So I'm going to start it from, like, I'm giving the start value. The second argument is start. Suppose I give the start as 1. 1 means index 0, 1. 0 is the first index, 1 is the second index. So I'm starting it from 1. It gives me x naught in tuple. You can see it very well. That is because I started the search from 1. This is the tuple. And because I started the search from here, earlier I had not provided start. That means the default value of start was what? It was 0. Okay. And so it gave me the value what? 0. But then what I did was I wrote T1 dot index 20 comma 1. That is, it should now start from 1. Instead of 20, it should now start from 1. And in this area, in this portion of the tuple, there is no value 20. That is why it gives us a value error. So this is very suitable for us if you have duplicate elements in your tuple. Okay, if you have duplicate values in your tuple, it can work fine. Like if I create a tuple T2. So I just gave some values here. I think I did a mistake. Excuse me. Okay, I'll convert it into a list. List T1 L1 dot extend. Excuse me. Okay, so L1 is this, and now I will create T2. So this is my T2, right? So I'm writing here T2 dot index value is 20, and I'm going to start it from 1. So you can find over here 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this 20 appears at index 9 after the 0th index, because we had started our search from this part. The colored part, you can see we had started our search from this 45, that is index 1, and we did not. So Python left out index 0 and it started its lookup from index 1. And within this slice, it found that the index of the item which we are looking for is over here, that is 9. You can also stop the search. Suppose I stop it at, okay, I cannot make changes there. Index 20 comma 1. It should start from 1 and it should end at 5. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So where will it be ending? Over here. Will it find the value? It is not in tuple because we provided a stop value to stop the search. Start the search here and stop it over here. Right? So let us take it some more. 5, 6, 7, 8. T2 dot index 20 comma 1 comma 8. It still gives us x not in tuple because we find that 8, this is the slice within which we are looking for the value 20. Got it? So this is your index function, which is used to return the position of an element within a tuple. Next is count. The count function is used to return the total number of values. Okay, 1 second. Count. I just did a mistake. Sorry. I was thinking something else. Okay. Now count function CNT, I'm just giving a variable here, equals tuple object dot count element. What is the count function used for? It is used for counting the number of occurrences of an object. Used for counting the number of occurrences. What is the correct spelling? Occurrences of an element within a tuple. So it is used for counting the number of occurrences of an element within a tuple. Like I write here T2. This is T2. I write T2 dot count 20. So it will count the number of times the element 20 occurs within the tuple. And if an element is not present in the tuple, then it returns 0. So if I write T2 dot count 99, it will return 0. Okay, because if there is an option here, it doesn't need to return any error in this case. If an element is not present, simply 0 will be returned, and this function returns only positive indices, because positive indices are considered to be the primary indices and negative indices are considered to be the secondary indices. More priority is always given to the positive indices, because positive indices are common among many programming platforms. Okay, so most programming languages, they only use positive indices. Using positive as well as negative indices is something which is becoming very popular in the latest programming languages, specifically Python. With this, we complete the tuples chapter.
Ma'am, can you explain index once again?
Index
What
function.
index? Yes, ma'am.
Okay. See, index function is a function. Firstly, let us see what it has to do. Index function, it returns the index location of an element within a tuple. Okay, within a sequence or a tuple. It works for strings also, it works for lists also, right? So if you want to look for the position of an element within the tuple, you can use the index function. Value is provided as a compulsory argument. We had to provide value because after all we are looking for the value, looking for the position of the value within the tuple. So value is a compulsory argument. आप ऐसे भी सोचोगे तो value तो आपको देना ही है, right? Otherwise there is absolutely no, it doesn't make sense in using the index function if you don't provide value to it. Next is, it also accepts two other arguments, two other optional arguments known as start and stop. Now, what is start? So if I talk about this, if we have tuple object dot index, we provide a value, we provide a start, we provide a stop. These two are optional. That is, if you want, you can skip these two arguments. If you skip these two arguments, the default value of start will be 0. That is, it will start from the index 0, and its default stop value is the huge value starting from 9, which you saw a few moments ago. right? So that means you have, it will stop automatically, it will stop at the last index. This stop argument can actually accept numbers till this number, okay, but it will in according to your tuple, in context of your tuple which you have created, it will stop searching or it will stop its lookup at the last index. First index से start करेगा और last index पे रुक जाएगा, right? So these two you do not need to use if you don't have a specific requirement for searching in that direction, right? You only need to provide value compulsorily. Let's understand this by an example. So I'll be taking this one tuple over here, which is T2. So this is my tuple which I have provided, and let me just specify the indices also, only the positive ones. Right? So these are the positive indices. Now if I write T2 dot index, I am looking for the index, the position, the location of the element 20 within this list. Now because I have provided only the value, so the start will be what? 0 and the end will be what? 15, right? It will start looking from 0 and it will end at 15. It's just like you are looking for a particular address of one of your acquaintances, and you are told that you can start looking from block A and you can end at block E, right? So you are going to do a thorough search of all the houses, and the first house you encounter which matches your address, that is going to be the location. Okay, you are not going to look any further. जो पहला इंडेक्स मिलेगा वही आंसर होगा. Okay, so 20 appears right over here, so this function will return what? 0, and it will stop the search here itself, right? Now if you want to look for the other occurrences of 20, remember that index only returns the first occurrence, the first occurrence of element, right? If you want to see elsewhere also within this tuple, then you have to increment the value, or you have to just shift, you have to add a start value also. So I'll write here index, look for 20, but don't start from the first index, that is 0. Start from the second index, that is 1. That is, now my search will start from 1. Okay, so because my search is starting from 1, so this part is completely shadowed, right? And the answer returned is going to be what? 9. Because now I have just incremented the value of start. I have just given a start value. Then if I write index 20, 1, and I'm going to end it at 8. That means now this is the portion where I'm going to look for my value. So I even provided the slice where I have to look for. So this is the portion of the tuple where I have to look for the value 20, which is not present anywhere. So it gives you an index error. Index error, or I think it should give us a value error. Name error. No, wait. Value error. Not the index error, because it is looking for the value and it doesn't find the value, so it gives us a value error, right? Because that particular element is not present within this range. Here you are actually providing a range where Python should look for the element. So now we are going to see dictionaries, which is slightly different from lists, tuples and strings, right? It is an entirely different type of data type which comes under the mapping data types. Okay, lists, strings, tuples, these are sequences, whereas dictionary is what? It is a mapping data type which uses a specific function known as a hash function to convert keys into indices within an internal array. Okay, actually what happens in dictionaries is there is an internal array, that is an internal block of contiguous memory blocks or contiguous memory cells, which we as programmers need not pay attention to, right? Arrays are like they are continuous block of memory cells where data can be stored contiguously, that is one after the other in sequential locations, right? So in within dictionaries, what happens is whatever dictionaries store everything in a key, in the form of a key value pair. You will have a key and its corresponding value. So the keys are what? Those keys are converted into an internal location or index within the array, right? Using a special function which is known as a hash function. All this takes place internally, so we don't have to worry about how this key is converted into index and vice versa, where in the array the key value pair is stored. We don't need to look into that because Python handles that internally. We only have to figure out how we can work with dictionaries. Okay, so you will find that it is a very interesting and a very nice function which provides sorry, it's a nice data type which provides us with a lot many different functions and characteristics with which we can work with. Okay, so dictionaries come under the category of mapping data types. Okay, and because it is mapping, hence you mapping means conversion. So here also kind of conversion is there, that is how keys provided by the programmer are converted internally into some internal index value using a hash function. So that is why it is known as mapping data type, right? So we will see what are dictionaries. So I would like to first show you an image of dictionaries. So you can just take a look at this image over here. Internally, this is an array, which is a continuous block of cells, one after the other. Just I'll give you an analogy regarding this. You might have seen seats in a cinema hall, in a movie theater. Okay, all the seats in a particular row, they are in sequential order and they are numbered also. So when people are sitting there individually, okay, when people are sitting on the seats, you can access people, you can understand where somebody is sitting by the seat number, right? So it is like a continuous block of cells which appear one after the other in the memory in sequential memory locations or in consecutive memory locations. So this array is completely handled internally. We provide the key and the data. Normally we have a key value pair or key data pair in dictionary. How data is stored, like Amit Raj and his telephone number, right? So Amit Raj is what? The key, and his telephone number is the value. So this forms a key value pair. So the internally these keys are what? They are converted into some internal index. These keys are converted into an index within the array using some hash function, right? Which we don't have to worry about, and hence they are stored. Sometimes it happens that the key gets converted into an index which is already being used by some other item. So again, using some other technique or some other application of hash function, another location is created and it creates a chain to that other location. So all this is handled internally by Python, right? So this type of a data type is known as mapping. Why? Because mapping means conversion, conversion of something. If I talk about a map, you might have seen a map. What is a map? It is a pictorial representation of the actual geographical areas where the distances, the actual distances are scaled down to smaller units. Kilometers, miles are scaled down to smaller units like centimeters or millimeters. You might have seen that, right? Why are maps used? Can anyone tell me why maps are used? Why we use maps? What is the utility of using maps?
To find a location.
To find the location, exactly. If you are looking for a particular location, like we very frequently we use the Google Maps on our smartphones, right? Because earlier days it used to happen that we had to ask the person, अरे भाई मैं यहाँ खड़ा हूँ, फिर then that person would say okay, turn around the corner, and then you have to walk 5 steps and you will reach my house, or you'll reach a lamp post, and from where you will have to again walk 10 steps. So this was a kind of a complicated situation. Nowadays, you just call up your friend, tell that friend to send you the house, send you his house location using WhatsApp. You use that, it exactly fall, and you can start your navigator on your that is driving navigation on your smartphone, or if you have a special navigation device installed in your car, you can easily drive to that location. It will literally show you the path. How do you think this Ola, Uber drivers, they exactly come to your location? That is because they follow the navigation. So this maps are what they scale down large geographical areas into smaller, into a small piece, onto a small piece of paper. So this technique is known as mapping. So here also the keys are being converted into some index locations within the array. That is why it is known as mapping. Right. So now we'll move on to understanding what actually dictionaries are. Dictionaries are something which store data in the form of key value pairs, as I've already told you. If you want to create a dictionary, it would be something like this. Dictionary object equals, it starts with a curly bracket and ends with a curly bracket, right? Key, key 1, value 1. So you can have any number of keys and value pairs within your dictionary, and it will end with a curly brace. Curly braces, right? So curly braces are used to create dictionary objects, and each of the elements is actually a key value pair within the dictionary, right? Key and its corresponding value. There are no indices. There are no indices in dictionaries, okay? We won't have any positive or negative indices. Only keys are the only mechanisms or only things through which we can access the values within the dictionary, okay? It is an unordered collection. Dictionaries are unordered. There is no specific order of elements. If you create a dictionary providing the key value pairs in a certain order, when you print it, you will find that the order has changed. Why? Because the order is not really important over here, right? So they are not sequence. Hence, that is the reason why they are not sequences. They don't fall under the category of sequences, right? Tuples are sequences because all the items are ordered there. Lists are sequences, all the items are ordered. You might have seen that items never change the order. When you print the list or string or tuple, the order remains the same. Okay, and that is the reason why you are able to access the elements using the indices. Okay, so that is, if just imagine, had it been like the houses, we had floating houses. Okay, so the houses would have changed their location. So there would only be some value, some key through which we would be able to access those houses. Okay, so the houses don't change their locations. They always stay at their at their original location. So that is why sequences always have fixed sequences always have ordinal numbers accessing each of the elements. But in dictionary, because they are unordered, there is no specific order in which the key value pairs are stored. Hence, they are not sequences, and only keys can be used to access the elements. And they are mutable data types. That is, you individual item assignment is allowed. Is allowed. So you can change the values, you can even change the keys, you can delete key value pairs, you can add more key value pairs, you can do all sorts of modifications in a dictionary because it is a mutable data type, right? So these few things, these three things you should remember mandatorily about a dictionary. Let's try to see an example of a dictionary. So I'm going to create a dictionary here. I'm creating a phone book, and that phone book contains key value pairs where the keys would be name of the person and phone number would be the value. So I'm creating a phone book dictionary. So I'm just taking some arbitrary values here, okay? Oh God, what did I do? Okay, it doesn't matter. I pressed, by mistake, I pressed enter. So right now my phone book contains what you can see: Amit Raj, Anita Verma, right? It is not necessary that it will always change the order and then display. It may or may not change the order and then display. Okay, when you have a large number of values, as we are going to add more elements into our dictionary, you will find that. So here, what are the keys? Amit Raj and Anita Verma, and what are the values? These are the values, right? Now I'm going to add more items. How to add more items? Phone book, and just write it like this: phone book, start a square bracket, provide the key over here, and provide its value after equals. Now when you display phone book, you will see that it contains all the three values. So how do you add values to it? Adding values is like this. That is dictionary object, right? Within square brackets, provide the key, and equals, provide the value, right? So that's what I did over here. Phone book, Rahul. So Rahul is the key and the value is this. If you want to add more, it will be like this. Right? then type it, and you can see that we have the values being printed. If you want to access any value, you have to use its key. Press enter and you will get the value. So key you have to use, you use the key to access the value within the dictionary, which corresponds to that particular